This is a Bellwork for Monday, October 23rd. On number 1, we have to do substitution to find the x and the y for these two equations. So substitution means that we're going to take out one of the x or the y and substitute what it equals to. And if I look at this first equation, it's already pretty much done for us. We have already that y is equal to x minus 4. So that means I can take, in the second equation, every time I see a y, I can substitute the x minus 4. So I'm going to change this second equation into 4x plus x minus 4. So I just took out the y and I substituted x minus 4. I can do that because y is equal to x minus 4. And then, since I only have one variable in this equation, I can solve for the x. So we'll do 4x plus 1x makes 5x. And then we'll do add 4 to both sides. We'll get 5x is equal to 30. Divide by 5, and we'll get x is equal to 6. So that's half the answer to this. We still need to get y. So I'm going to take the 6 and I'm going to put it in this first equation for the x. And I'll get y is equal to 6 minus 4, so y is 2. Okay, number 2 says to write in decimal form 2.1 times 10 to the 5th power. This is called scientific notation. Scientific notation. And what I want to do is I want to move the decimal either right or left how many places this exponent is. And how I tell if I go right or left is if it's positive, I'm going to move it right. Negative, I'm going to move it left. Now remember, we're moving the decimal, we're not just adding 5 zeros to it. So we're going to move it one time, and that'll make it into a 21. And then we have to move it 4 more, so I'm going to add 4 zeros. So it's 21,000. Okay, number 3, we're finding the product of x minus 2 times x minus 7. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to do the distributive property twice. I have to do it once for the x and then again for the negative 2. Okay, so let's do it for the x first. We'll do x times x makes x squared. Then x times negative 7 makes negative 7x. And then the second time for the negative 2, we're going to do negative 2 times x and get negative 2x. And negative 2 times negative 7 makes positive 14. Then all you have to do is combine the like terms. So I have x squared, which is by itself, so nothing to combine with it. I have negative 7x and negative 2x, those go together, so negative 7 and negative 2 makes negative 9x, and then the 14 is all by itself. So we end up with x squared minus 9x plus 14. Okay, number 4, we're solving, and this one's pretty easy because it's already in factored form. So you think about what do you have? You have two numbers multiplied together to make 0. So one of these two numbers, or both of those two numbers, has to be 0. So I'm just going to solve both of them for 0, and that'll give me the two answers for this problem. So let's do x plus 4 first. If I do x plus 4 equals 0, I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. I'll get x equals negative 4. And then if we do x plus 1 equals 0, subtract 1 from both sides, we'll get x equals negative 1. Okay, so 2 answers on these. Okay, number 5, we're doing 25% of 80. Okay, there's a bunch of different ways to do this. First thing you could think of is 25% is 1/4. And if you do 80 divided by 4, you're going to get 20. Or if you don't want to think that hard, one way you could do these in your head is think about 10%. 10% of 80. When you do 10%, you're just moving the decimal over one place value. So 10% of 80 is 8. There's 2 10%, and then there's 1 5% and 25%. So we do 8 plus 8 plus half of 8, which is 4, and we'll get 20.